Hey, friend, thank you so much for joining me today. I wanted to share some ideas, some things that would be helpful in changing your relationship dynamics. Like, and by relationship dynamics, I mean just the interaction, the way that you experience your vibe, your words, your tone, your attitude, your stance, your mindset. What some very practical dynamics, some very practical tips that could be applied to change the flow, change the dance, right? We're all in a relationship dance of some sort, right? And in coaching, I tell my clients that we are in the process of changing the dance moves. And these 3 pointers can really help do just that because they break up the motions that we've been in for a long, long time, probably before we even entered the relationship. In fact, more than likely, the relationship just compounded some of the dynamics that were based on beliefs, based on stories, based on past hurts, past experiences that we then bring into the relationship. No judgment in that. But how then do we begin the process of transforming the dynamic, transforming the mindset, transforming the dance? And there's some really cool ways that I just wanted to share here. And the first one is humor, laughter. It brings us all together. Whenever there's laughter, there is just a lightness. There is a way of being that is so different. It actually uh, breaks the bondage and the intensity of moments. Whenever somebody cracks a joke, like even in like a courtroom or like a place where it should not be funny, it's like, oh, okay, the vibe is normal again and just chill. I can breathe again. I can catch myself. I can be with myself. Okay, and now I can almost get myself out of the clouds a little bit, right? Stop taking yourself so seriously, right? Like we're so serious so often, and it's like, stop, just stop. And that doesn't mean there's never space to be serious, but injecting humor appropriately, I may add, could be a very helpful thing in changing the relationship dynamic. Well, I'm not very funny. You don't need to be funny. I'm not telling you to go Google jokes. Okay, might be some weird things that show up, anyways. But what humor is in your life. You if you are a human, you have embodied laughter. You know what is funny. You know how humor can look in your world and in your relationship. And so here's the thing, it could be really difficult because in some marriages, let's be honest, we haven't had a lot of laughter. We haven't had a lot of humor. It's been a lot of heartbreak. It's been a lot of pain, a lot of suffering. And whenever we can cross into the places of humor, we really start to actually experience some level of healing, right? We're even able to laugh, not in a way that uh, downplays hurt or pain. It actually can call laughter into uh, laughing at ourselves. Like, wow, I said that. I believe that. I can just laugh it off. I can laugh at the reality of, wow, I felt like that was true. Okay, that's kind of crazy. Maybe that's what humor looks like. There is no one way that humor must look like. It's literally just a dynamic that you can include into your rhythm of, hey, this is how we can involve humor. Secondly, gratitude, thankfulness. Telling somebody that you appreciate them and are thankful for them is not something that you can overly state because assuming it's from a place of like love and deep appreciation, it is going to always be authentic. And you can use it, sure, as a weapon and as a manipulator and to coerce people into doing things. Hey, say if I say thank you to them, then maybe we'll have sex or maybe he'll clean the dishes or whatever the case may be. But in its purest place, gratitude and showing appreciation actually allows for connection and intimacy because somebody's taking the time to look you in the eye and tell you your value from their perspective. Such a gift to say thank you, to be specific. And I would say if you are demonstrating gratitude, be very, very specific. Hey, I really liked how you got down on your knees whenever the kid was losing their mind, and they clearly were having a moment. And, even I was really exhausted and getting frustrated, but you just got down on your knees, and I could tell that you were listening to them and you were engaging with them. And you did a great job holding the line with them, and just serving them through that. Thank you for doing that. I couldn't have done that in that moment. Thank you. It's specific. And generally the person doesn't even know that they did it. And if they did, you know, it's a gift for them to be reminded or aware of, like, oh, they're doing the right thing. They're doing a good thing. The third dynamic is curiosity. So, uh, starting with questions. Whenever in marriage you hear somebody say something, it's very easy just to respond, right? Are we listening to prove, or are we listening to learn? And whenever we inject curiosity, we're actually injecting a dynamic of understanding in ways that because we don't know what we don't know, right? Or we may think we know, but it may be off. And so in marriage, the gift of curiosity allows for clarity on both sides, because sometimes even in curiosity, for those of us like myself who is a verbal processor, I don't even know what I am thinking until I say it, and I'm not even certain that I believe what I'm thinking. Versus somebody who is a internal processor, they like to think through inside, and they need space. No bad, like allowing for both forms of processing to be handled safely without judgment. Like, okay, this is what you're thinking. Tell me more. Help me understand. This is what I'm hearing you say. Is that right? What else could be true? Right? And just like holding that space for whatever the thought process is, even if you don't like it or agree with it, or align with it, just put it on the table. Being willing to just hold a space of curiosity for your partner to come to the table freely with whatever is there. Like, whatever's there is there. And if you can do that in your marriage, wow, not only are you doing that probably with your spouse, but you'll also do that with your children. And let's be honest, as parents, one of the longings that I hear from a lot of my clients, and myself included, is I want to be I want to be somebody that my kids can come to and really be honest with, and trust with what their thoughts are and what their questions are, and just not to enable them, but simply direct and care and serve them in a way that a parent may want to. The only way that we can do that is by actually demonstrating and having a posture of curiosity of, I want to understand you. I want to be here with you in this conversation. And in order to do that, I want to ask questions without judgment, without expectations or steering of any sorts, but truly listening to learn and care for you. If you inject this level of curiosity, if you inject this level of gratitude, and I promise you, the humor will probably end up coming about pretty naturally. And so, those three principles, those three actions, and those three attributes can really go a long way whenever we think about um, conflict, how we experience just growth, how we experience communication. Whenever we are willing to hold a space and change the dynamic of a relationship that injects curiosity in how I ask questions, and how I listen to said question, the answers to said questions, with a level of gratitude, and how I show appreciation towards you, not for what I can get from you, but because I love you and because I value what you're doing, and I want to spur you on freely. It allows for a level of humor to take place in the relationship, to call forth healing where there's been wounding, and care where there's been emptiness, and connection where there's been void. It also allows for levels of integrity to be built. And integrity is simply trust, a building of trust whenever you provide that space of curiosity, because it's no longer a threat. It's actually a safe thing. It's an okay thing. And even in disagreements, I'm still here for you and still committed to you in this process. In the small things. So, curiosity, number one, gratitude, number two, and humor. You inject those three dynamics into your dance, I promise you'll be dancing in ways that you never thought imaginable. You'll be connecting in new ways that you never thought imaginable. So, how do you uh, involve these in your relationship dynamics? How do you experience humor? How do you experience gratitude? How do you experience this level of curiosity? If there's questions that you ask somebody, share them with us. We'd love to see them and read them and share them with everybody else. And if there are things that you do to demonstrate gratitude or demonstrate humor, share that as well. We'd love to know. This is a community thing. This is not just a Joe telling you what to do. This is us growing together in our dynamics, in our marriages, so that we can live in the integrity, the intentionality, and the intimacy that we're all created for. Thanks.